Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, along with three other guest hosts. I guess this week we're going to talk with Wesley from the Greenville, Mississippi CVB.
Correct.
And also with Mike Jones, who's down there on the end. And below us, on our feet, happen to be Mike.
That's Princess Kitty Wawa M&M, my youngest daughter's cat.
Yeah, so if she pops up on the table, we're going to keep rolling. So we're just going to tell you who's the cat is. But that's because this is such a great place to be.
That's
Even
right.
Cats just show up on this
right.
show. But we're so happy to be down here because the food is so good, the lodging's good, and the fishing's good. It's hard to leave. I'm telling you the truth. It's hard for me to get in that car and drive back home. And so we're going to give each of you people an opportunity to visit about what you have down here.
Right.
So people that are wanting to come down and visit, they can. We'll start with you, Wesley. Tell us about the area here.
So we are in Greenville, Mississippi. We're located on the Mississippi River, just above halfway down the state, if you can picture that or look at the map. Beautiful area, a lot of great outdoor activities. We got a lot of lakes in the county. We've got lakes right outside our county that fishermen come in, outdoorsmen come in and sort of base out of Greenville. A lot of our lakes used to be the river.
Oxbows.
Oxbows, and get a lot of tournaments, and we get a lot of folks just coming in on their own year-round. Weather's usually mild. We generally have mild winters, and the fishing's great in the fall, spring, just about all year long. So people love it, and we love to see them here.
Yep. And so, Mike, tell us a little bit about you have a bait shop out there. Tell us about how much fun is it running a bait shop? It's got to be good because you guys got big crappie.
I tell folks when they call or they come in the door and all and want to know how I'm doing, I'm living the dream and loving every minute.
There you go.
That's my motto. And I live on Lake Washington, the number 2 crappie lake in the Mississippi Crappie Trail and in the United States. I'm proud to be down there. We've got Southern Star RV Park and Campground, Bait-n-Thangs bait shop, and we're in the top 10 bait shops in the country. So, I love to talk to folks, as you well know.
Right.
And they call and want to know what's the fishing doing, and I tell them some's a fishing, some's a catching.
There you go.
That's right.
And then they want to know what kind of bait they're using and all that. And I'll get into it with the live bait, because our live bait's all guaranteed to catch fish or die trying. And we got all kinds of plastics and lures and all, especially them PICO lures, them PICO crankbaits, man. You got to come get you some. That's the ticket. That's what you used yesterday.
That's what we used yesterday. I hate to pimp our own sponsor here, but he started it. And so
Hey, man,
they actually have just such a wide selection. And the great thing is, you have a couple guides come out of the store there, and one of your guides who runs the service is Mark Hamberlin.
Yep.
And Mark does such a great job, and he has a lot of PICO crankbaits. But
he does, and so does Will Hutto, and he's got both of them got. Sometimes I think they throw their boxes up there to see who's got the newest and the greatest thing out there. So, but both of them, Will Hutto, what is his guide? It's
I don't know what his guide service is called. It's on your page, so if they check it out, they'll find Will there.
You got up early this morning, didn't you?
I did early. I did. But anyway, Mark Hamberlin, DD214, and Crappie Brothers.
There you go.
Crappie Brothers. Why couldn't I think of that? But that's Will Hutto and Mikey and Jesse James as Crappie Brothers, and we got all kinds of guides and all that come down there.
Yeah.
We work with. So, if somebody's looking for a place to come and fish, Bait-n-Thangs is a place you need to come. We can get you hooked up with a guide if you want a guide trip,
right?
Or if you need lodging, we can take care of you. We can get you catered up food or tell you where to go eat, or if you want to go to the gaming institutes, we can tell you where to get to and go there. If you want to go looking at the Blues Trail or the Mountain Trail, anything, we got it all right down there, and we can hook you up.
There he started on that.
That's
so
right.
You have some really popular events down here that people wait all year just to come down to.
That's exactly right. In fact, this past weekend we had the Delta Hot Tamale Festival, and many people outside of Mississippi may not think to associate hot tamales with Mississippi, but it's a big thing here in the Mississippi Delta. There's a long history of it, and so we have this what's grown into a massive festival. We had about 30,000 people downtown Saturday, and we had people come in from all over the world. And so that's great. About a month ago, we had the Delta Blues Festival, which is the world's oldest, longest running, continuously running blues festival in the world. And we're mighty proud of that. But we have things going on year round. And, you know, as Mike said, too, talking about seeing the blues trail and things, you know, a lot of our fishermen, men and women, come in, but you may be with somebody or have the kids that's not their thing, or you get a rainy day or an afternoon, and we got a lot of great things for men and women or the whole family to go do. A lot of museums in the county, and one of the favorites for the kids is always the birthplace of the frog. Jim Henson was born here and used to play along Deer Creek at a community in our county called Leland, and he had his best human friend, Brad, his name was Kermit.
Right.
And they used to catch frogs on Deer Creek, so you can guess where the name Kermit the Frog came from.
I got you.
Jim Henson created the Muppets. So a lot of things like that, great things to see and do in addition to the outdoor activities too, and excellent food.
I'm going to admit that I stopped by yesterday at the store, the museum.
Yeah.
And I stopped in there and actually popped a selfie with Kermit,
with the giant Kermit. Yeah.
the full size Kermit.
He's
and
about 7 feet tall. I think he's bigger than me. So.
I wanted to do a video with him, but he wouldn't talk. So
That's right.
apparently he did not like me.
You don't do a good Kermit voice? You don't have your own?
No, I should have just thrown my voice. Like, if I'd have been a puppet master,
Right.
I could have been like talking to Kermit. I would have had all kinds of things to say. But they actually have a gift shop inside
That's
there.
right.
We actually got some for the grandkids. Don't let the grandkids watch this.
That's right.
Spoiler
That's right.
alert right there.
Did you go to the Wildlife Museum where y'all were there?
Yes, we did. We went to the Wildlife Museum, and oh my gosh, they have so many things. The Hall of Fame actually has some of the people that I've actually fished with, and so fished with in a tournament. And
Wow.
So I was like, I fished with him.
Wow.
And so it was kind of neat. They had lots of mounts and old boats and
Yeah, antique lures, and it's amazing what they've. Billy Johnson, who's a local to the area, who currently is out west somewhere hunting, I believe. But Billy created that kind of as a labor of love, and that is the official Mississippi sort of Outdoors Wildlife Hall of Fame. They do an induction ceremony every year, and we're mighty proud of that. And of course, if you come in and you're a fisherman or a hunter, and again, if you're off the deer stand or not in the boat or whatever, that's a great thing. It tells a whole lot about the history of the outdoors in Mississippi.
And
proud
actually,
of that heritage.
Actually, the kids will like seeing that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they go in there and look at those old engines and look at those boats.
All the mounts and
the mounts will really give them bobcats. Just everything that they have inside there is truly amazing.
That's
and
right.
then they have the print side, so where they have all the prints. And I don't remember what the gentleman's name is, but they had a whole row of
prints he had done. I'm not sure who that is. I always enjoy the antique boats, sort of the history of boats all the way down to Native Americans and the outboard motors and things you wouldn't necessarily think of, but that were important in the early days. When the county was settled or the Mississippi Delta was settled and people were hunting and fishing here.
Let's break it down into lodging. That's available, and then also break down into dining for us.
So lodging, we got a lot of options. Of course, Mike mentioned he has his place down on Lake Washington, which is south of town, and there's some other folks that offer lodging down on Lake Washington, very popular. We get folks in from all over. A lot of Midwesterners come in. We'll see, and then in town. We got a number of hotels: Hampton Inn, True by Hilton, Holiday Inn. We've got 2 casinos here, Harlow's, and it has a hotel as well. And then our newest one is called the Hotel 27, which plays off it's actually in the old levee board building. If you don't know, I know you know probably, Brad, but biggest natural disaster in the United States prior to Hurricane Katrina was the Mississippi River flood of 1927.
Yep.
And then, unfortunately for all our ancestors in the Delta, it put a whole lot of water. The levee broke and ruined the farming and a lot of cropland and ruined a lot of lives. But people have long memories here, and we try to commemorate that. And so that new Hotel 27 sort of plays off the flood of 27 and that history, and that's our newest property downtown. But there's several others downtown,
Right.
and they run the gamut from, hey, I'm pulling in with my buddy, and I'm going to be in the room 4 hours, and I don't really care. I'm just going to hit the bed. I'm all the way up to just the most beautiful places you've ever seen. There's a place downtown called the Lofts, and it's just kind of a high-end sort of luxury. So we can hit everything. Our hoteliers are used to working with fishermen and outdoorsmen. They'll work with you on electricity, that sort of thing for the boat. And we just love having people here.
You have does here. What's the history behind that? I'm mentioning that specifically because last year we actually went and visited that.
That's right.
And so it was they can make a steak.
Doe's is amazing. That's another one of those things. So they're a James Beard Award winner, which is kind of one of the highest culinary awards you can win.
Wow.
Family-owned business. It's been around since 40s, Mike. Family-owned. When you walk in, you're going to walk in through the kitchen, and you're going to see the whole staff, and people sort of enjoy that. You're going to feel right at home. But it's not unusual at all to go in there, and there be one or two celebrities, or pro athletes, or actors or actresses, or somebody with notoriety who have flown in to eat there.
Wow.
And that's always fun because it's such a laid-back restaurant. It's not unusual to see them and go meet them. But the food is spectacular. The steaks are ginormous.
Yes, they are. They serve them by the pound.
By the pound, and I'll have to say I can eat my fill, and then I get home and my German Shepherd gets a little treat too because you just can't finish them. But the steaks, hot tamales, we talked about the Delta hot tamales. Doe's is famous for their tamales, and fried shrimp, broiled shrimp. It's all delicious. It's wonderful. And that's one of the many restaurants.
Right.
We actually ate at the Downtown Grill last night, which was fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
We got to try it and did a little filming. Also, downtown's the Butcher Shop. Jim's Cafe is sort of our classic where the people of the town go to drink coffee in the morning and have the great plate lunch and just a number of great dining options here.
Do you have some sports arenas, locations where families might come in too?
We do. We have a sportsplex here,
Uh-huh.
and the convention center. Sometimes we'll have sporting events there. But family. We have baseball, soccer tournaments, that sort of thing. Every once in a while, we'll get a college baseball game in here. We had the Notre Dame baseball team came in and played Mississippi Valley State, and that was kind of exciting to have a big time school, big time baseball program come in. But
1D come rolling.
Yeah.
Did they win? Who won?
They did win. They won pretty handily, but
all right.
But everybody had a good time,
Right. Yeah, that's amazing.
Greenville also has the fastest dirt track in the southeast.
Oh, really?
Greenville Speedway is known for the fastest dirt track in the southeast, home of the Gumbo Nationals and Rumble on the Gumbo in the spring. Gumbo Nationals was the first weekend in October, and Rumble on the Gumbo, I think it was either in April or May.
And run a full season out there.
Yeah, they run
fabulous.
a full season.
How about fishing tournaments? Do you bring in some fishing tournaments?
Sometimes it feels like we don't have a weekend without a fishing
all right.
tournament. Yeah.
Right.
No, we do all the time, and we have great relationships. Mike's sort of a go-to guy for everybody. He obviously is down on the lake and connected with the fishermen, but he's also connected with a lot of the tournaments. He's a big help. But my office will be of help too. We do sponsor them. We bring in a lot of the different organizations, and we love having them. We have them year-round, from sort of pick-up tournaments with locals all the way up to the big national tournaments we hosted. So
crappie, bass,
both.
And how about
catfish?
Catfish? You having a catfish tournament?
I think that's probably our next big thing where we'll see more and more organizations coming in. And
you've got the. I used to host the hand grabbing deal for the Northwest.
Right.
I was the weigh-in spot for it, and then they sort of trimmed down, and I'm not even sure if they're still in existence anymore. But that was hand grabbing catfish, and then you got the Mississippi River catfish anglers that come in. They host tournaments on Lake Ferguson and the river out there. They usually weigh in at Warfield Point Park if it's not flooded or what have you. But they're there, and we've got on Lake Washington, the first weekend in June every year is the snake grabbing rodeo, but it's also deer and hand grabbing season. So, we got folks that are coming in and they're hand grabbing catfish at the same time they're hand grabbing snakes out there, and it's a big deal. That first weekend in June brings about 400 plus people from all down south and literally all over the country. It's getting more and more notoriety, and some famous people coming up here and being a part of it.
Yeah.
So
let's put our brakes on. So you need to explain about this snake grabbing stuff. Now, sort of for the people that have never seen it, have never been there, you need to explain what's going on.
Well, you tell about the guys, because you know more of them personally than I do.
Grab You One Outfitters. I think this was their 12th or 13th year. It's on up there. They've been doing it.
Yeah.
It's a group of lawyers and law enforcement and judges and folks out here, and what we call redneck fun. They go out here and they have a good time and do.
That's one of them right now.
There you go.
Probably got bit by a snake.
Yeah. But it's Grab You One Outfitters. Lake Washington has been dubbed the snake grabbing capital of the world. There's three banded water snakes that you can't find nowhere in the world except on Lake Washington.
Yeah.
And this has been proven by the Grab You One Outfitters and MDWFP, Mississippi Wildlife Department, Fisheries and Parks. And it's a big thing. And they're not going out there and grabbing poisonous snakes, although some people do.
Right.
And every year we end up with somebody that gets bit because they wasn't sure about what they were grabbing, or they couldn't focus on what they was grabbing. So I'll leave it at that. But anyway, they go out there and they grab snakes. And
is that a 1 day event?
That's a 1 day. It's a 2-day party.
That's right.
Friday you come in. Well, Thursday they come in and set everything up, and Friday they go pre-grabbing and finding the snakes, and then Friday night they have a big band and blow out and barbecue and stuff, and then on Saturday they go out and do their hand grabbing, and they'll have 5 or 6 teams do this, and then they go out and they got 10 people or so on a team. Well, the losing team, one member of every losing team, they take out there on the pier and they take a bucket full of snakes, and the person has to lay down on the pier, and they dump them snakes on top of them, and they squirmy around, go back in the water and all that, and that's kind of like your initiation for being a loser. So and it's a lot of fun. I mean, we talking about women, we talking about big old burly men, we talking about little old kids.
Right.
Mary Finn is what, 7 years old. They got 7-year-old kids going out there. And there's one girl particularly, she'll go out there and she'll come back. She'll tell you in a heartbeat, girl power, I caught me a snake.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun, and it brings a lot of tourism to Mississippi, and it brings a lot of interesting people. We had Living the Dream Outdoor TV show came all the way from Missouri and filmed it this year and participated in it, and they had a blast. Yeah,
it's also probably good for snake identification for people too.
They
really
have
the educational part. So the Mississippi Wildlife Department comes in too. They're part of it.
Well, they usually come in and all, but they've got these posters and videos and stuff. Before you ever go out snake grabbing, you go through this little training session of knowing what to look for and all that, and it's a big deal. It's almost getting as big as crappie fishing, and you know how big crappie fishing is on Lake Washington.
Tell him about the Duncan booth.
Well,
my gosh.
in years past, that and instead of laying them down on the pier, they had a Duncan booth up there, and one member of every losing team had to get up there on the Duncan booth. And this thing, you know what a Duncan booth is? All right. Well, it's full of snakes.
Right.
It's kind of like the Indiana Jones TV show that they had back years ago, where he looks in the pit of snakes and then he falls in there. Well, this is like falling into a a Duncan booth of snakes.
Snakes.
All right.
You coming back to participate in that, or
I might.
maybe film it? Probably not participate.
Well, I actually had a couple snakes in college, so
there you go.
Well, I'm gonna
I
sign
wouldn't be
you up.
opposed to coming back, grabbing one or
There
two
you
just
go.
to do it. But I don't know where to go from there, so we're just going to go to tackle time. Look, the snake grabbing thing, that's really popular, but everything else that they've talked about is just, it's top notch. It's first class, and it's just an area that you can come in and do a whole bunch of things. And that takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time is one of our sponsors is PICO Lures, and PICO Lures makes a whole line of soft plastic and also crankbaits, topwaters, hard baits that you can get. They'll catch all kinds of fish, especially if you go to Lake Washington. And of course, I would recommend that you go to Mike's store because they have lots of them there and all the colors, and so you can check them out there. You can also go online to picolures.com and you can find the products there. The other sponsor we have is Smith Consumer Products, and they have everything, and they were talking about catfishing, maybe cutting your bait up, using some like bigger shad, and this is a bait and game shears. And so like a game shears, you can cut them up and cut your bait, and then you can put them on there and catch bigger catfish that are inside there. So they have a whole line of products for outdoors to cutlery. You can find their stuff at smithproducts.com. Now, if they want to find out more about come and visit your great town in your area,
Absolutely.
where would they go?
So go to visitgreenville.org. It'll tell you all about the town of Greenville and Washington County. And you can also go to visitthedelta.com, and that'll take you out a little further. Some of our other partners in the area, there's some other lakes and things your audience may be interested in.
All right, sounds great. Mike, how about your place?
Man, check us out on Facebook at Bait-n-Thangs, or give me a call at 662-822-2087. Stop by 1940 Lake Washington Road East, Chatham, Mississippi. Come in the door and we'll talk about fishing and snake grabbing and everything else, or go to Bait-n-Thangs.com, or go to the state's new website. The Crappie Trail, Mississippi Crappie Trail. You can click on there. There's all kinds of links and stuff to carry out to get you where you want to go.
On their website, they also have an app for your phone, Apple or Android, so you can check their products out there. And like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hooks sharp and your lures in the water.